The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Oh boy, are we really going to go? Welcome to the program. We were just talking about the two suspects in Boston. There are three suspects. I'm sorry. The media will tell you that there are two suspects. Today, we will confirm what other non-mainstream media has reported. And I warn you, be very careful, because there is a concerted disinformation campaign that is coming from this government right now, because what they will do is they will try to catch somebody in one thing and reporting one thing that's not true, and it will start to unravel, and everybody will say, well, that's not true. I can't believe it. And it's really important that this is right. So I warn you, some of the things that we are talking about started to come out last week. Over the weekend, many of them came out. We have, I think I said, 5 exclusives that we're going to reveal today. And we have more that will be coming out in the next few days. It is so important for the media to report this and join us. It is so important for Congress to join us on gathering the truth, and your friends. But be very, very careful. We're sitting here talking about the two that were captured, which the media is focused on. There's another one that was the first suspect, and he is not only a suspect, we'll tell you who he is coming up, but then tomorrow we have a source that is saying there is a ring, a sleeper cell of about 10. So the media is only dealing with 2. We'll begin to look into the 7 that we haven't even really followed, but good, reliable sources are saying there are 10 involved in this. But let's go back to the 2 that were captured. I find the most remarkable, breathtaking thing I have seen on this, and I was up on Twitter on Friday night when I got home. I was having dinner with my family, and they didn't want to talk about it. And my family was like, please, Dad, can we not just tonight? And I'm looking at we're at the movies, and one of my security guys sitting behind me reaches up in front and he says, found in a boat. He's in custody. When I get out, I get another note. We didn't Mirandize him. Now, he's a citizen. We already have, what's his name, Lindsey Graham, saying on Friday afternoon, see, that's why you want to have them drones up there. You won't be able to see him with a drone. Well, the next thing is, that's why I have a drone up there. And we just had some armaments on that thing. We could vaporize him. Everything that Rand Paul was talking about, we're now jumping on the bandwagon. What was crazy 3 months ago, well, you got an American citizen. Let's say an American citizen is out there. You want to just have a drone up there and kill him? Do you have to have a warrant? Do you have to have anything? Well, apparently not. We have a citizen of the United States, and we're not going to Mirandize him? Why? Because the excuse is, well, then you'll just make it into a nightmare in court. Well, I'm sorry, it's going to be a nightmare in court. Then that's something that we need to look at, making sure that we find people with frivolous lawsuits. We try to do everything we can to fix our justice system, but we don't just tell citizens, you don't have any rights because you're a super bad guy. What?
Well, there is a public safety exception for this, and that when there's an ongoing terrorist investigation, this is somewhat well established, if I'm not mistaken. Now the question is this guy, because the initial report where these 2 guys worked alone and that was it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're bringing up a report of it could be 10 other people, which would actually give them credibility on that claim of the public.
Oh, are they
safety.
saying that?
No, I'm asking.
Yeah, no, they're not saying that.
No, but they don't have to say it.
Yeah, no, but they're not saying it. They're not even. No, they're trying to discredit. I mean, Stu, you know,
Yeah, no.
we are working with people at very high levels, and those people are being threatened with 20 years in prison. 20 years in prison for trying to alert the press. They're lying to you. They're aiding and abetting.
But they did say their excuse for not Mirandizing him was the public safety exception, which has to do with there could be other things going on. So that's their explanation. The other side of it is too. I can't remember what analyst said this, but it was that the Mirandizing thing has to do with essentially your prosecution. So like they can't use the things you say about yourself when they're prosecuting you. And I think it might have been Jeffrey Toobin. Correct. I apologize if I'm wrong on that, from CNN. But he said that it's possible that if they believe they have so much evidence on this guy, they don't need they don't need any of his words that he's saying here, because the case is so open and shut that they don't have to worry about it and they can not use it. Because if he says something, they can't use it. So
do you really think? I mean, look at this. This guy is a citizen.
Grenades at police officers.
I don't know. I know. That's what my argument was to people. Were like, we're not a man. I am. I'm like, what are you afraid of? This guy, we know. We know. Everybody is, but his aunt, which we have to get into. Everybody is, but his aunt knows what this guy did. It's pretty darn clear. We had a massive manhunt. We had the pictures, everything else. What are you afraid of?
Well, that was the point, is that they're not afraid of anything. So they don't need to Mirandize him. They don't need his confession. They've already got him dead.
This guy gets out on a loophole because we didn't read him his Miranda right. Didn't Mirandize him and read him his rights. It's inexcusable. Inexcusable. Beyond that, you cannot allow the government to get away. Remember, one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. When we say they can take you and scoop you up without a warrant, that's also well established. That's the law now. They can scoop you up, they can listen to you, they can track you without a warrant. Now they can just hold you indefinitely. Well, we all love to hate this guy, and I do too. He's a despicable human being. He's guilty. He's a Muslim extremist. You name it. I have no love for this guy. But do not go down the path of saying, well, that guy's different because you could become that guy at some point in an out-of-control government. But I know that will never happen. Our government can be completely trusted to tell us the truth. I know our media would never, ever try to go against somebody who is just try to paint you as a criminal, paint you into something that you're not. I mean, Tea Party, you guys know that would never happen, right? The Patriot Movement. Or is the Patriot Movement really only just racist white Klan members? I'm not sure anymore. You know they would never try to do that to you. It's just this guy, and he doesn't deserve his rights. Now, his brother, who wasn't an American citizen, I don't really care. Don't really care. You come over here from, well, not Saudi Arabia, because if you come from Saudi Arabia, you get an you might even get a private jet on the way home. When the airspace is closed too, they might even open it up just for you. But any other country besides Saudi Arabia, well,
first guy wasn't Mirandized either when they put a bunch of holes in him. And his brother ran over the top of him.
I have no problem.
His brother is really amazing.
I have no problem if you're shooting him.
Yeah.
I have no problem. You're out there. We all know what was going on. It was a firefight. Shoot him. I have no problem with that.
Of course.
But when he is no longer a threat, you have him there, you have the cuffs on him, read him his rights. He's an American citizen. Read him his rights and follow the law, period.
Can I ask a really stupid question about this process? Are the rights created when they're read to you?
No.
So don't the rights exist anyway? Like, can he say, I want these things, even if they don't tell him about them?
Your leftists got the Mirandized rights, the Miranda rights, as part of you have to do that. We never did that before. This is a radical leftist thing.
1963, I think.
Right. We never did this before. But now, if you don't, anybody can be let off because you didn't read them their rights. Well, okay, you're exactly right. They're not created, but you have to make sure everybody understands the right. They didn't understand their rights, Your Honor. He's from a foreign country. He just talked to him. He didn't know. He's a citizen. He went and took whatever.
The guy quoting Jay-Z lyrics is such a foreign citizen. He doesn't know our Miranda rights.
Right.
Really?
Okay,
really?
so that's the argument they'll make. And so they've made it. You have to do it. Why aren't we doing it? For not doing it, you're making the statement, I don't care about his rights. We're going to do whatever we want. It's not like, oh, we forgot. Well, we don't need to. They made the statement. We're not Mirandizing him.
Yeah, before he was even coherent to answer anything. I mean,
now he's answering things. And I'm glad.
They should just.
I hope they have him on a little bit of happy juice there in the. So he's like, I love you guys so much. Hey, let me tell you how this whole thing went down. It was crazy. I hope that's happening. But you have rights. If you're a citizen, there's a difference between, being a good citizen, being a good American, and a dirtbag. But rights only matter when they're hard to uphold.
Right, but those rights still exist whether they read them to him or not, correct?
They do.
So, I mean,
Then why wouldn't they just...
I don't know.
Why wouldn't they say...
That's an interesting question, because I don't know...
Public safety. Public safety.
I mean,
what does that even mean?
Well, I guess the point is that they don't have to let him. Is it that they wouldn't need him? You can't stop and talk to an attorney.
They're treating him as a non-citizen. They're treating him as an enemy combatant,
and that's wrong.
And
I'm sorry, but
the implication is that he doesn't have these rights. That he doesn't have the rights as an American citizen. That's why they didn't read him to him.
He is an American citizen.
I know.
And if you want those rights, I'm sorry. I think this guy is a despicable dirtbag. But I'm sorry, I will stand with anyone who will say what the government is doing is wrong. You read him his rights. He is not a foreign combatant. His brother was. He's not. He is a citizen. Whether you like it or not, maybe you should have looked into a little harder. Maybe we shouldn't just give citizenship out like candy, I guess. But he's a citizen, and so he gets rights. And if you want your rights violated, then go ahead and violate his. But you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. And our rights have never mattered more. They're talking about now just reading emails, listening to phones, no wiretap. It doesn't matter. You don't need a warrant for anything. The Constitution doesn't even exist. It only matters. There's no speech. Nobody has to go out and protect my speech on saying, no, the president is a really nice guy. Nobody has to protect that. You have to stand up when people say awful things that offend everybody. Look at John Adams. This should be a huge sign to Americans, especially people who claim to be part of the Patriot movement. John Adams went and he defended the British. In Boston, they were accused of shooting the shot heard around the world. They were accused of starting it. So what did John Adams do? He went and defended them. Everybody hated him for it because it was as big of a deal as this Boston thing was. But he said they have rights. They have rights. You have to stand up for the truth. They have to have a vigorous defense of an attorney. And he was pilloried for it. If you're really a patriot, you stand up for the rule of law. You don't pick sides. You do the right thing even when it hurts you. And it kills me to say, this guy's got rights. He's a citizen. He's a dirtbag. I would love to see him fry in the electric chair. And I mean an old-timey Thomas Edison electric chair. He has rights. He's a citizen. Oops, there's our first mistake. We gave him citizenship. Let's not compound that by making another one and losing who we really truly are. And quite honestly, making it more dangerous for your children down the road. Here's our sponsor this half hour at Simply Safe.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.